As it says right there, we are talking about the Cult of Chucky. And if I were to add a subtitle, it'd be the big missed opportunity. Uh, but we'll get to that. Hey, everybody, it's Razor from the Horror Syndicate, and we are definitely talking about the Cult of Chucky tonight. Our final review, whatever you call these, of the original Child's Play Chucky film franchise, and it's been a wild ride so far. We have one movie left, the 2019 Child's Play movie, which we will be doing next week, and then we will be doing a ranking show after that, and then we'll be starting Hellraiser for a while. We're gonna raise some hell. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We are live, so I can fuck up, and it's okay. Um, THS Discourse. We did a Ask Us Anything episode last week, or well, just a couple days ago, and it was a good time. Check that out on YouTube, and of course, check us out on Facebook. If you're watching us on one of them, and subscribe, hit that button. Uh, anyway, yeah, like I said tonight, we are talking about Cult of Chucky, and the one thing this left us film fans off with was a fantastic cliffhanger ending, and it's like, oh, can't wait to see the next movie. Well, we're not getting another movie. We got a show that's 3 seasons deep, and I'm not sure if I'll ever even watch it. I still have to watch other things like the DC comic show Superman and Lois is something that's high on my list of things I need to watch. And there's 4 seasons, 3 seasons with 1 season left to go. But anyway, Seth will be joining me momentarily, and then we'll get into the conversation. We'll be doing. I just want to go over the schedule real fast because we're doing all of the Hellraiser movies, and then we will of course rank them as we normally do, and then of course we will be going over the Evil Dead movies. I think that starts in May. I found the schedule that we were going to follow. We're going to do some Jaws this year, all kinds of different things, and it's going to be pretty fun. We're going to do an entire Howling episode. Not going to go through every movie like we do normally, but it'll be a good time, and it's going to be one for the ages for Seth. So we'll bring Seth in as soon as he jumps back on. Until then, I will go through Sean Sheridan's comments as we normally do at the top of the show because he is the first one to comment. Um, Same thoughts as Curse. I like Brad and Fiona Dorff in roles. I like the Mental Asylum. Decent stuff. Let's add Seth. Let's see if he's. Seth, are you with me?
I am with you.
Oh, thank goodness. Where are you? I'm here. Anyway, um, we're gonna get to your thoughts on this one. It being the last of the films of the original the series. I'm very tired. Uh, this is one of my big contentions with this movie. The Voodoo Book for Dummies. I hate that. I agree with that. Uh, 3 out of 5. After this next comment, we'll go with you. Superman, Lois, great. Yes, that's on my list of things to watch, and I want to get caught up before the new. When's the new season start, Seth? You know?
They just said it's not going to premiere until the fall. So I
Oh, I
think they're
got
going to
time
shoot
then.
they're going to shoot everything, and so there won't be. It seems like there won't be any. How CW traditionally has like these like breaks like
Yeah,
7
mid-season
times
breaks.
in the middle of a season. Doesn't seem like they're
Yeah,
going to do that. So
thank God.
they're gonna have everything shot and done and completed, and so I'm looking forward to it.
They got to get it done before July of next year, right? No competition.
Yeah, yeah.
I just watched the video. I got to send it to you. the very end of it talks about that, and it was kind of mirrored our conversation a little bit. But anyway, let's get your thoughts on Cult of Chucky, because this is the last of the movies other than the remake, mainline series, I guess. I wonder if there's ever going to be a sequel to the remake. Probably not. But what do you think of this one?
I really dig this one. I think it's really good. It's not as good as Curse, in my opinion, but it's pretty close. There's a couple things in it that I don't really care for, but overall, I thought this was a really good movie,
Mhm.
and I felt like Don Mancini was moving the story forward. Um, and I was, especially with the way this ends, I was like really looking forward to seeing what came next. And then, of course, they did that fucking TV show.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, there are people who really like that TV show. I think it was last week or the week before, I did a poll, and there's a good amount of people who follow the Horror Syndicate who do like the TV show. It's just for me, I don't know that I'm ever gonna
Yeah.
sit and watch the whole thing. I mean, I like Chucky movies, and um, I just don't want to watch a long form story. It's they're not. I don't think this character should be supported in long form storytelling like that. That's just my opinion. Um, you've
No,
seen the
I mean,
show, so
I've said it before and I'll say it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I just wish Dom Mancini would go back to movies, 90-minute stories every, 2 or 3 years. Um, I think that's probably the best way to go. The show started
what?
off. I know I've said this many times before in our previous shows, but the show started off really good, but then it took a major dump, in my opinion. And it didn't even flush.
You always got to flush. If you don't flush, it's going to be like my kids. It's going to be a stank ass toilet because that's what I wake up to. Or I'll go upstairs after not being up there all day, and it'll smell like piss the whole upstairs. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, you didn't flush. Couldn't even close the lid. I felt like Don Mancini
Yeah.
probably didn't even close the lid. Um, yeah. So I thought this was a good follow up to Curse. Like you said, they're moving the story forward. We got to follow, Fiona Dorff's character, Nika, and
Hmm.
got to see Andy back again, which was kind of cool. And he's not the only one. This movie really connected everything, you know, which was really great. We like I said last week, I thought Curse of Chucky was going to be a kind of a. I thought it was a remake originally, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty good remake, but it's not. And then this one, they go a couple steps further and start giving us that connective tissue to the Child's Play movies, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Colt did that as I mean, Chris did that as well, but this one even more so with the end, a great ending to this movie, great cliffhanger, and to me, it's the end of the
Oh, totally.
series. So, but yeah, I mean, the my biggest complaint, and you know what I'm about to say, I think,
Hmm.
is they didn't, the whole idea. My theory originally for the Cult of Chucky was when at the end of or at the beginning of the third movie when
Yes.
those pinchers go into the burnt crispy body of Chucky, which I don't know why they just tossed that shit in the trash first of all, and it started mixing with the blood, and then you get this opening title cards. I was like that would be the perfect way to spread Chucky's. Every doll becomes a Chucky doll, or something. And I thought that was really cool, and I was really hoping for that for this movie, and they just did the for laughs voodoo for dummies bullshit, which I didn't
Yeah.
care for. What is your take on that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I would have absolutely preferred if they kind of used the beginning of Child's Play 3. Because I mean, with this movie and even with Curse, he went back to Child's Play 3 with a certain plot point of Chucky mailing himself. So I
Mm,
thought that was kind of cool. And the whole voodoo for dummies thing is one of the two things I despise about this movie. Because one, as I've said before, I think the whole voodoo for dummies thing would have been okay for Tiffany for her character, like in the beginning of Bride, but
Hmm.
like the fact that Chucky's relying on it, and just like that whole monologue, that whole explanation that he gives to Nika, it sounds like an infomercial,
Yeah.
and it just there's something it's just not right.
Yeah, it kind of just let me down at that point. And while the rest of the movie was
Yeah,
okay, and again, great ending, it just like it I guess it took a few points away from my overall score. I'll tell you what, if anybody ever wants, like, if I'm going to hire somebody, don't constantly bother me until I say yes, I'm going to hire you. Otherwise, I won't. I don't like being harassed by people. Just got a message from an artist who I talked to about potentially working with me, and he constant like every 2 days messages me. I'm gonna have to fucking block him. It's annoying. Anyway, um, for comics, by the way. But anyway, let's talk about some of your high points in this one for you. What are some of the things you really dug about this one?
yeah. So I think because of the way Curse leaves off with basically Chucky winning and framing Nika, I think this had a good starting point for the story. And with that, I like the setting a lot. I think I like this mental hospital. I like I like the way it's all like white and like clean. Like I think it's just especially with it being like in the winter time as well. So like
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I think the setting just works really well. I also like the way that Don Mancini was sort of experimenting with his directing style and the editing style of this movie too. It feels very different from everything that's come before. Um, I think that the score for this movie is really strong, just like the last one, maybe even better. And um, and another really positive for me is Fiona Dorff's performance as Nika. I think she's like the best thing about these last two movies, in my opinion. And actually, I she might be one of my favorite characters in the whole franchise.
Really?
And
Okay.
that's where I get really frustrated with the TV show with how they handle her. But yeah, this is I think this is a it, it's got a it's different than the others. It's got a good setting. It's got a good visual style, um, and it's got a good performance from Fiona Dorff. Not so much from Alex Vincent, but
You know.
I don't fault him too much because I don't think he's really been in the game very much since he was a kid. But yeah, there was a lot of really good stuff with this one.
Yeah. One of the things I like is this one and Curse really pull back from feeling like a Chucky movie. And not to
Yeah,
say that I don't like Chucky movie. Uh, it's just they went. I felt like it was in a different. Like this could almost you could almost say it's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest meets Chucky. You know,
yeah,
where the last one was almost like a haunted house movie, but then there's Chucky. So that's one of the things I really liked about these two, and I would love to see another type of movie like that going forward because I thought it was kind of this could have been a whole different new trilogy where the first ones are trilogy, and then you got the duology of Bride and Seed, and then this one Curse, and it could have been uh, Cunt of Chucky or something. I don't know. Something with a C. Something with a CU. But anyway, like yeah, I liked, and this was a great setting. I think also for a Chucky movie because like you know people already think you're batshit crazy, so that's perfect for Chucky. you know. And there are a lot of great kills in this one. And Fiona Dorff, like, she's a really good actress. And I'm honestly surprised you don't see much more of her
Yeah.
out there than what she's already in. Uh, Neil Tyson DeGrasse or whatever. Huh. I don't. I've never watched that guy. But anyway, yeah. So there's a lot to like in this movie. Even some of the characters are kind of fun. Um, but I think overall, my biggest takeaway is that ending. You know, like that's my favorite thing. It's like, yeah, hell yeah, we're getting more, and then I like keep forgetting about the guy, or keep remembering there's a goddamn TV show that ruins everything for me. So yeah, I like this movie overall. It's a fun watch.
Yeah.
It's
Well.
I might be with
Yeah.
you because there aren't many recurring characters or long lasting characters, but Nika's great. She's a good character. Um, I think your other option really is Andy, like because he's the only one that's in multiple movies really, than other than Nika. I guess Tiffany and Chucky. Uh, it's hard to say I like Chucky. You know, like I get it. They're his movies, but it's whatever. But like human characters, I think Nika's probably the best one. Um, but yeah, overall fun movie. Great step in the right direction. TV show's a step in the wrong direction. I'm hoping this TV fad or whatever the fuck it is just dies soon. Like it's not just the Chucky show. You know, there's the Halloween show, which if they do it the right way, an anthology like Halloween 3 would be good. But DC's doing this shit. Marvel's doing this shit. It's not working, people. It's not. I don't care what anybody says. It's not working. Disney Plus subscribers are down, and nobody's watching those dumb shows. Uh, anyway, that's my little hot take. You don't watch those either, do you? Most of the TV shows on these streaming services.
No, not really. No.
And so that's the one that matters, guys. So, well, so what are other than what you've already said? What are some of the other takeaways that you didn't like?
That I didn't like.
Yeah.
The opening scene. The dialogue is just very, very cringy. The whole conversation Andy's having with that one chick about
Uh,
guns, and it's just like it's just it doesn't seem like a real conversation. It seems like a really forced Hollywood conversation about the topic of guns, and
mhm,
you know, it's like okay, out of any character, like Andy is, it's perfectly understandable for him to have guns for the fact that he went through a lot of childhood trauma since he was 6 years old. Went to a military school when he was 16, so he would learn, where he would have learned to, uh, to be disciplined and how to properly handle a firearm, stuff like that. But and it's just like so it felt unnecessary to try to like find a way to like have him like justify why he's a gun owner, and like
mhm.
that chick's response, I don't know, it just seemed very cringy. It just seemed like it was just like forced Hollywood, kind of gotta get a little message in there a little bit. And so I didn't really care for that. But after that, when Andy goes home, I think it's pretty good. I like the whole thing where he's going through his cabin. You
Mhm.
see the Kent Military School sweater.
Yeah.
He takes out the severed Chucky head, and that little banter. And like I would say in that opening scene, not with the female, but when it's Andy and Chucky, Alex Vincent's actually pretty good in that one moment
Yeah.
where he's talking to the Chucky head. You know,
Yeah. I agree.
um,
I don't think they needed that opening part, you know, with I think that they could have started with
yeah,
Andy in
yeah,
his cabin or whatever. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And um, shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Sorry, that was my fault.
no, it's okay. I had another point that just like came in my head, and then I forgot it. You know, I'm old and stuff. Um,
Is that what it is?
th- that's my excuse.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
If I
What
think
are
of
you
it,
gonna
I'll
do?
try to mention it later.
I'm so angry right now with this artist. It's like, leave me alone. Leave me, you know what? Lower your rates and I'll hire you. If you're that hungry for money, that's all it is. Is they want money. They need money. Not want. It's need. I know what it is. It's like fucking. Come on, get a real job. Anyway, well, let's just kind of take a look at scores if you want. I'm not. It's weird. Like I was thinking about this today, and I'm like, I don't really have too much to say on Cult of Chucky. Most of like every time I thought about it, I thought about how pissed off I am. There's a TV show. Like I'm really like
Yeah,
let down that there's a TV show. So that's unfortunately where my brain is. But interesting. This has got kind of a lower score from our followers. 66% is not what I expected. I thought this was going to be like more well liked among our view. What do you think of this score?
yeah. I think that's unreasonably low. I don't know. I mean, I see the comments. I mean, people. There's a lot of people who don't like Curse or Cold. You know, like I see a lot of comments of the series sucks after part three, and I don't know if it's just
Wow.
if people genuinely hate them for some reason, or if it's they never bothered to watch the last two because they assumed that they would be like, I don't know. I don't understand the problem. I mean, and you know, I don't want to sound bad there. Like, I get everyone's entitled to their own opinions. You know, there's people who probably genuinely don't like it for their own various reasons. I mean, and it could be the, you know, the multiple Chucky thing, the Voodoo's for Dummies thing. There could be lots of reasons why people don't like it, but I don't know. I just feel like it's, in my own personal opinion, it should be a little bit higher, but you know,
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, funny thing, we'll get to my score in a minute, but I'm surprised these two aren't more welcome. They are two of the better filmed movies in the franchise, especially after the second movie. Um, and I think I like three a lot. We talked about that, but I think Curse for sure is probably the third best movie in the franchise. This could be number four, in my opinion.
hmm
But yeah, I don't know. I think 66 is kind of low. I don't think it should be too much terribly higher, but eh, you know, yours is 78%.
yeah. I mean, I took away points for writing, um, because of one, the opening scene, as I mentioned, and then the Voodoo for Dummies thing, as we both mentioned. But I think it's competently made. I think Damian Cini has really improved his skills as a director and as a filmmaker. And I like the set in. I you know I think the acting is very good, at least from Nika, from a couple other supporting characters. Not so much, again, not so much Alex Vincent or um, multiple Malcolm, um, but I think everyone else was fairly good. I think the kills are really good in this one as well. I think the kills are really cool.
Yeah.
I actually really like that one scene where the chick is strapped down to the um to the bed there with the glass overhead. I thought that was actually really cool. Yeah. Oh, and I thought of it. I just remembered the thing I was going to say earlier. Another thing that's kind of like a negative for me is the treatment of the Andy Barclay character.
Hmm.
Because I remember seeing the post credit scene for Curse and seeing him back, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And knowing that he was in this and how he's the opening of this film, but then he just kind of like there's big chunks where he just disappears, and then when he finally does show up, there's not much that's really done with him. I felt like they underutilized Andy Barclay. Um, and I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
did.
if
I was
maybe it
hoping he'd
was
be in more of the movie, honestly.
intentional, maybe if it was. What's that?
I was hoping he'd be in more of the movie.
Yeah. Well, same here. Like when I first watched it, I remember my reaction being, I really like the movie for what it is, but I felt a little gypped that that he was a much smaller presence in the movie than it seemed like he was going to be.
Yeah, that was kind of a letdown a little bit, but and well, again, I was hoping they were building off like this would like another movie would have made a great ending because you would have had 9 movies, right? Yeah, no,
Mhm.
8 movies, but 8 movies, and you could have had a great ending with Andy being the main character and kind of Sarah Connor slash Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode kind of role going after the Chuckies and blah blah blah. I think that could have been good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this movie has a really good cliffhanger ending as well. You know, Chucky. We finally see Chucky possess a human, right?
Yeah,
Something we'd never seen before, and the whole thing with Chucky locks Andy inside the asylum and then leaves with Tiffany, and just like the music is fantastic at this ending. Um, I don't know, there was so much potential there, and I totally agree with you. Like I felt like there should have been another movie that kind of explored the whole idea of Chucky possessing Nika while also possessing other dolls, and you know the sort of the struggle with Nika. Maybe have Andy go after them and maybe find a way to free Nika from it. And but they squandered it, and not to keep shitting on the TV show, but the TV show comes in and it's in this timeline, but it shifts the focus to these new characters, these kids that are barely interesting at all, if at all, and Nika is kind of sidelined, and then they do some shit with Nika at the end of season 1 that infuriates me, and like it just feels like they squandered all the potential, and I just wish that he just made another movie, properly, if he properly wrapped up the storyline with Nika and then did a TV show focusing on these born kids that he does. Um,
hmm
that would have been fine. But the fact that we didn't get a proper wrap up to Nika's storyline, and then they just kind of moved ahead with these new protagonists and sort of sidelined her, that makes me mad. And again, I don't mean to keep shitting on the show. I know some people like it, but god damn it.
yeah, and it's whatever. I mean, he wanted to do whatever he did. I wonder what the difference would be in financially of him making a movie over the 3 seasons of the show. I don't know. I don't know if this is like if we would have gotten a movie like what's going on in the show. So I don't know how it would have gone. But it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. But anyway, I gave it a 78 because the entertainment factor is pretty strong for me. I honestly, my four favorites in this franchise is literally uh, one, two, Curse and Cult, and I like part three as well, but I favor Curse and Cult above that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and
So
my score comes
78.
in.
I docked some points for writing, um, but and a little bit for acting as well. But it's pretty good.
I gave it a 70. I'm a little bit harder on movies than you are, of course. And I'm not a huge fan of this series. I like these movies. I like this one. Um, but, um, I still think this movie at least deserves this score from our followers. I know it's only 4 points, but come on. My biggest complaint, my two biggest complaints are the what is the Voodoo for Dummies, and then not getting a proper sequel. I guess the show will work. I mean, who knows? I may end up liking the show, but I keep hearing bad things about it, and so I don't know. So I think 70's fair. I think this would fall fourth, maybe, of all the movies for me. Or no, fifth, I think, if you count, because Seed and Bride are probably my least favorite of the whole series. So, eh, you know, overall between the two of us, I did a poor job on this one. I need to get it just a cut out of my head, which apparently is hard to do. But 74% between the two of us, not too bad. I think that's pretty fair. What do you think? Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think this franchise deserved better. That's just my opinion. Than a TV show. I know, like, TV shows are all the rage and everything, but Christ, man, like, you ruin binge watching these movies, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I'm glad you like it. I would like to see more of her, but I don't really want to watch that show. He was offered 5,000 to do a
Yeah, they
movie.
continued it, but they
Go ahead.
well, I was just addressing Tammy's comment there. It's like, yeah, they did continue it, but like she was like severely sidelined. I will say though that um performance in the first season where she actually does play young Charles Lee Ray in flashbacks, and like it's amazing, just with her the way she acts and sounds just like her dad. Um, it's actually a really strong performance. But as far as the Nika character, um, you, I don't see how anyone could like what they did with her at the end of season one. I just can't see it.
Well,
But
like
I'm
a,
glad you like it.
yeah, right. I'll likely never know. I really have no, like, and I'm a collect. That's the other thing, is I'm a collector, and that took the wind out of my sail from ever wanting to even get this. I'm very turned off by the idea of a slasher franchise getting a TV show. I think it's idiotic, honestly. Uh, yeah, that's the issue. But if they would at least watch the movie, I don't think it would, that issue would pop up. Yeah, Ash versus Evil Dead is a whole different animal. I think that's they did that right, in my opinion. But and also,
Oh, it's
like,
a fantastic show.
yeah, I don't know, man. Ash is one of the more beloved characters in all of horror history. Period. Way more than Chucky. And Bruce
Oh,
Campbell is a
totally.
human being with just oozing charisma. I mean, oozing charisma. And you know, I feel like uh, it made more sense to make an Evil Dead show. And even today, I think they could make an Evil Dead show with everything that went on after Rise and in 2013. There's definitely room to make a show in there, and they went about it the right way in Evil Dead or Ash versus Evil Dead. So I don't know. Like I think it's like they want to do a Friday the 13th show. I don't think that works. They want to do a Halloween show. If they base it on Michael Myers and Halloween Night, that doesn't work. In my head. But you know what would work? A Nightmare on Elm Street. I think they could make a fantastic show out of that. I mean, it's easy. I think Elm Street is primed for long form storytelling because like look at Scream, the TV show. Not not I'm sure not a lot of people like it because it was made by MTV. Blah blah blah. Um, but it followed a bunch of teenagers trying to figure out who the killer was, just like the movies. And Scream's another one I think that could be a show for real. And it would be the same thing. A group of teenagers, their friends start dying off in their dream or in their sleep, and they're trying to figure out who does it. And there could be like dream sequences in the show, and I think that'd be a cool way to go. But some of them don't. It doesn't work, and I don't think Chucky for me would. I don't. Chucky can barely keep my interest for 90 minutes. Sometimes I'm just saying. So that's a
Yeah.
little soapboxing. Boyk Roy wrote a lot. Just gonna leave this up
You
and
know, I
hide.
I could see like Hellraiser working, especially if they based it off the comics from a couple years back.
Mhm. I think maybe they need to reboot Chucky altogether. I mean everything. Not Freddy. No, not Freddy's Nightmares. I'm talking about an actual show starring some teenagers who are having nightmares about Freddy. Like take a movie and spread it out over a season. I mean, you could easily make the first movie into a fucking all the way through the fourth movie. You can make into a season, fifth movie. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean they could with Elm Street. You can really highlight the idea of Freddy going after all these kids in this town.
And he doesn't have to kill somebody in every
You have
episode.
this like maybe one. Well, I mean that would be ideal, right? For at least for a nightmare sequence per episode, but you have like this group of protagonists of sorts, or maybe just one,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in school or whatever, but like, or they're in their town, but like all their classmates, and there's like a big widespread epidemic of these deaths because of Freddy. You know what I mean? Like there's so much they could do with a Nightmare on Elm Street TV show, and they should hire me to write it.
Or me, or us as a team.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna answer that. That artist is being an asshole now. So anyway, that's. I don't really have much more to say about Cult of Chucky. It's a good movie. I liked it overall. It's it's just a shame, that's what the franchise ended. For people who don't watch the show, this is the end we got because there are going to be a lot of people who didn't watch the show, and it's not an ending. It's a to be continued. Um, I'd like to see Don Mancini
Yeah.
make a movie to follow that up. I know he's got the show and everything, but come on. there's fans out there who aren't going to watch. I mean, he's got to know that there's just moviegoers or whatever you want to call them. And in the streaming age, it's like, where is it streaming? Peacock. I hate this the world we live in today with the streaming bullshit.
I don't know where it's streaming, but it airs on it airs on the USA Network and Sci-Fi.
Oh, two high quality networks. So yeah. Anyway, is there anything you want to say about the Cult of Chucky? We'll close this one up a little early.
No, it's fine. Let's end it because this glitch in here is just really pissing me off at this point.
Yeah. Remember next week we're going to be what are we talking about? Oh, Child's Play 2019. And then we'll be moving on to our ranking show. And then after that, we will start Hellraiser. And we're not doing each movie per week. It's like we do the first couple and then we double them up because and I know Seth, you could probably go on for a long time on a lot of these, but there's no way I can sit there and talk about Revelation or whatever it's called for an hour. There's no way, you know. Um, I think after that it's Evil Dead, which I think we're gonna do the five
Yeah.
movies, and I think we're gonna do a whole episode on the show Ash versus Evil Dead. But we're not gonna rank the show and rank do our ranking, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's fine. That's fair.
That means I'm gonna have to rewatch the show, and it's gonna get in the way of my Superman and Lois viewing. Coming up, coming up in about a week, over at the Rage of Razor Retro Outsider page. I'm probably just gonna change that back to Rage of Razor again for like the fourth time. Because remember we did the Fandom Unlimited thing for a minute. It was FU. It was called Nightfall Unlimited at one point, and now it's back. It's Retro Outsider. That's not doing shit. So let's go with Rage of Razor, but go back to that if you don't mind. Yeah, we're gonna do a DC EU post mortem. Aquaman 2, the Lost, some whatever it's called, will be hitting HBO Max on the 27th of February. So the plan is to watch that and then do kind of a post mortem and rank the DCEU movies. You know, everything from Superman's The Man of Steel to Aquaman, including The Flash, Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, BVS, Justice League. Are we going to do both cuts of Justice League, you think?
I'm gonna include both cuts of Justice League on my list, but I'm not doing both cuts of BVS
No, because they're not.
because
Yeah, agreed.
because like BVS is the extended edition is like the more radical um the it's a better story. It makes the story so much better. It's a big
Yeah,
improvement, but it's essentially the same movie. Whereas the two different Justice Leagues, they have completely different tones. They're almost like they got similar scenes, but they are and they're similar in story, but they're widely different in execution, and they're almost like two completely separate movies. So
I think you're right on that. So we'll say Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, um, Shazam, the Shazam movies, Black Adam, Blue Beetle. Does that count?
I believe it counts.
Well, I don't know about Blue Beetle. I've heard it's going to be in James Gunn's DCU. I've heard it's going to be in the DCE. I don't know. Uh, let's just count it. It's
Right.
released within. Let's just say all the movies other than the Batman and the Joker movie, DC Comics released from 2013 to 2023. That's it. That's how we're gonna do it.
Sounds good.
except for the Batman and Joker. Those don't count. And then
Okay.
if Jaime ends up in the DCU, then we'll just when we go to rank that stuff, we'll put him in there. Easy
Yeah.
peasy. So, and I'm looking forward to doing that on I think we're doing it on Leap Day actually on February 29th. So that'll be fun. And then once we're done with that, we're gonna go right into Fox's X-Men universe and plow through all those movies, including Deadpool, including the Wolverine movies, and then we're gonna rank all of those at the end of that. That's gonna be our first big thing, right? We're doing the X-Men movies first, right?
Yes.
And then after that, and we got a whole ranking system ready to go. It's I've already rated the first two X-Men movies and X-Men Origins Wolverine, because those are the ones I've watched recently. Even though I watched Deadpool and Deadpool 2, I'm not done with Deadpool 2. They're getting ready to have that big fight at the end. What about New Mutants? Do we throw that in there?
Yeah, that counts.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's a spinoff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that one. I guess in the same vein of Deadpool, it'd be a spinoff.
It's okay. I didn't overly love it, but
Yeah,
it's
well,
okay.
yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. Where's it? Is it streaming on Disney Plus?
Fuck if I know.
Let me look here.
I never go on Disney Plus. I have the Blu-ray because I'm
not gonna buy it. So yeah, it's on Disney Plus. I'm not gonna buy it without seeing it, even though I buy just about everything. Oh, Anya Taylor-Joy's in it.
Yep.
Cool.
She's actually kind of a bitch in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's a few familiar names in here. That's cool. All right. Well, I'll definitely have to watch that one. Yeah, my son's going through all of the X-Men movies with me, so it's been kind of fun because he's never seen them. He watched, I guess, right before Christmas, they showed the X-Men, the first one, in class for the science class, and he loved it. And he's like, we need to watch the rest of them. I'm like, all right. And so we watched X-Men 2, and then he's like, loving Wolverine, of course, because those movies are Wolverine's movies. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And he's like, is there any Wolverine movies? I was like, yeah, there's 3 of them. He's like, what's the first Wolverine movie? And I showed him that opening where they're going through the wars. He's like, that looks so cool. I was like, all right, let's watch that next because it doesn't matter. It doesn't. So, I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, you can take a break from the X-Men movies. And we're only like 10 minutes into X3 because we had to go do something. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing X3. Hopefully in the next couple days, but yeah, it'll be fun. So sometime
I recently marathon. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I recently marathoned all 7 of the primary X-Men films. I haven't gotten into spin-offs yet. I'm going to probably venture into those now, but I just marathon through.
So there's 13 movies total X-Men then. Films. Is that right? 13 movies total? 7 X-Men movies, 2 Deadpool, 3 Wolverine, and the New Mutants. Yes. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say it right now. My favorite is the X-Men First Class.
Ditto.
Okay.
But Days of Future Past is right behind that for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not a huge person for X-Men 2. Like everybody loves X2. It's good, but it's not like my favorite of any of them. A lot of people still say it's the best because I posted on my Facebook page. I was watching them and people were like, oh, it still holds up. I'm like, some of it does. Some of it doesn't. Before we go, I'm going to show the trailer, the new Discourse opening, the one without Jared. We have one with Jared too. Just when he doesn't show up, I'm gonna have that one on when he does show up, and he's a busy man. So this week on Discourse, I have no fucking clue what we're talking about. Just, I don't. Are you not on this week? Next week? Is that right?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I should be able to do it.
Okay. Well, we'll have to. I don't know what the hell we were going to talk about. I don't want to be in
Well,
this. I
last
want to
week,
make. What did we say?
well, last weekend we were supposed to do the movies that made me, but then some stuff came up, and
Right.
I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do that show, and so we just did a bullshit episode instead. But
Yeah, which I enjoyed.
I don't know. I mean, if you want to do the movies that made me, we could do that, or if you want to find
Okay.
another topic, I'm fine with that as
I want to do the movies that made you, if we could, because I know that there's people who enjoyed the one with the Nate. Oh, you know what? I wonder what time when does Deadpool come out? July?
Yeah, July.
I wonder. 13 weeks. That's 3 months. Oh man, we'll just miss it. Maybe we'll start X-Men a little bit after and do something else because I want to. I'd love to be able to throw Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine into our ranking.
Okay,
What would you
that
think
works
about
for me.
doing that? You want to do that? Okay. We'll have to figure that. I'll figure. I'll look at the schedule because we're not going to double any of these movies up because I want to give each movie their time to shine with my 75 subscribers on Rage of Razor. Um, yeah, damn, 13 weeks. Let me look at the calendar. I'm already thinking about it. Uh, two,
There's
three.
plenty of other movies that we could talk about to kind of pad it.
So June 5th would be the ranking show. When's Deadpool come out? Is it the end of July or the beginning?
Oh,
Let me look.
Jesus, I think it was towards the end. I could
Yeah, I
be
think
wrong
you're
though.
right. Shit, the 26th, which is like 2 months. That's like 2 months from when we'd end. Uh, I'll figure it out because we can. Oh, you know what we could do? You know what we could do? The Tobey Maguire trilogy first. Ben Affleck's Daredevil. The Blade movies. That stuff. We could do that stuff first.
Okay.
The single serving, stuff
Yeah, that
before
works.
the MCU. That could be fun. I'll work it all out. I need to figure out how many weeks I need to fill
Yeah.
in, and then because it's. I mean, the Tobey Maguire movies we don't need to rank because it's obviously 3, 1, 2, right? I think I'd like to rank all the Spider-Man movies once we do the Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, live action only. Because I know everybody's like, "Oh, Into the Spider Verse is the best," and I haven't seen the new one yet. I'm not. We're not doing animation because if you start throwing animation in there, like,
Bullshit.
yeah, it's not fair because you can do anything in animation and yeah, it's just not doesn't work. So yeah, I'll figure something out and we'll start because that means I get to rewatch the Tobey Maguire movies because I haven't seen them in so long. Um, shit, I mean Spider-Man 2 is 20 years this year. Can you believe that shit? Grosses me out. All right, stay tuned. So do one about Mean Girls. Um, yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. I like the movie, but
No, thank you.
I'm not gonna see the first one or the new one. Anyways, you have anything else you want to say before we go? We have managed to push it to an hour, push it to the limit. Limit. Walk along the razor's edge.
Evil Destiny.
There we go. All right, everybody, have a great night. We will see you on Sunday for Discourse and next Wednesday for Child's Play 2019. We'll see you then. Subscribe, like, all that.